Infidelity is a delicate and uncomfortable topic, yet it's undeniably intriguing. It touches on our vulnerabilities within relationships and even challenges our self-confidence. No one likes to consider the possibility of being deceived. But the truth is, the clues might be right in front of us. Hidden in gestures, behaviors, and of course, seemingly innocent words today on Be Masculine. We're diving into 5 phrases that might initially appear simple, or even trivial, however. When examined through a more discerning lens, they can reveal much more than they seem. These phrases often carry nuances, hidden intentions, or even subtle signs of emotional distance. Before we begin, I want to invite you to subscribe to the channel right now. Here, we explore topics that uncover the mysteries of human behavior and help us understand our relationships better. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss an update, and always stay one step ahead. Also, as we go through this video, I'd love to hear from you. Which phrase or situation stood out to you the most? Share your thoughts in the comments. If you've experienced something similar, let's exchange experiences and learn together. First phrase: I've decided to start going to the gym. On the surface, this statement might seem completely normal. After all, prioritizing health is a positive thing, right? But what if this decision comes out of nowhere, accompanied by an unusual preoccupation with appearance, new habits that were never part of their routine, and a certain emotional detachment? Picture this: someone who's never shown interest in fitness suddenly wants to overhaul their wardrobe, adopt a stricter diet, and spend extended periods away from home. Of course, this could represent an authentic and positive change. But it's important to observe: are these actions being shared with you? Is there transparency about their schedule or who they're spending time with? Or is there an air of mystery? The key here is to pay attention to the context. Often abrupt lifestyle changes like these can be tied to a desire for self-reconnection, which in itself isn't a problem. However, when such changes coincide with a lack of engagement in the relationship, they might signal something deeper. For instance, consider whether these changes are being framed as a new health and wellness journey, or if they're creating barriers between the two of you. Additional clues like body language, or a lack of enthusiasm in including you in these new activities, can also be telling the central question isn't about making judgments, but rather staying aware of the context and impact these changes have on your relationship. Second phrase: I need some time for myself. Having personal space in a relationship is healthy. We all need moments to reconnect with ourselves. However, when this phrase arises without a clear reason, or becomes a recurring excuse for creating distance, it's time to take notice. Sometimes this need for space might mask deeper issues. It could mean entire afternoons unaccounted for, vague justifications like "I need to reflect on life," or evasive responses when you attempt to get closer. If these moments were once opportunities to strengthen your bond, but now seem to drive a wedge between you, it's worth observing more closely. Another question to consider is whether this space is being used to work through personal matters or to avoid discussions and explanations. Pay attention to how this phrase is used and the effect it has on your relationship dynamic. For example, changes in routine linked to a desire for space might also involve more reserved attitudes or a decline in meaningful interactions. Additionally, observe their behavior during and after these periods of space. Do things return to normal, or do these absences become increasingly frequent? Evaluating these nuances can provide greater clarity about what's truly happening. Third phrase: oh, so-and-so helped me with this. Here we venture into subtler territory. When someone is involved in something they'd rather keep hidden, a common strategy is to mention the person casually, as though they're just a friend or acquaintance. For instance, phrases like "so-and-so helped me with a computer issue," or "they're great at giving advice" might seem innocent. This can be a way to normalize that person's presence in conversations, creating the impression that there's nothing to hide. The key is to notice how frequently this person's name comes up, and the emotional tone when they're mentioned. Is there enthusiasm, or is there a deliberate effort to seem indifferent? Small details can reveal significant truths. Another worthwhile observation is whether this constant mention of the person coincides with other changes, such as mood swings or defensive behaviors. When it comes to interpersonal dynamics, the repeated mention of specific names can be a clue that warrants closer attention. For instance, observe if there's an effort to justify the closeness to this person, or if the frequency of these mentions begins to create discomfort. In relationships, subtle details often speak volumes. A smile or a slight hesitation when referencing someone can reveal more than the words themselves. The key is to stay observant, balancing curiosity with empathy. Fourth phrase, you should spend more time with your friends. This phrase is intriguing because it's often disguised as concern and care. Encouraging you to relax and have fun sounds like a positive thing, doesn't it? But what if this suggestion coincides with frequent unavailability, or times when the other person also seems distant? For example, they might say, "Love, you've been so stressed lately. Why don't you go play soccer or hang out with your friends?" While this may appear caring, if it becomes a pattern and aligns with instances where they too are avoiding you, it could be a US strategy to create space for other activities. Pay attention to the context in which this phrase arises, and look for any repeating patterns. Additionally, notice whether this concern emerges suddenly or aligns with broader behavioral shifts. Such changes might suggest an attempt to create alibis for justifying time and distance. Apart from the relationship, ask yourself, is this suggestion genuinely about fostering connection, or is it being used to establish emotional and physical distance? Also consider how the phrase makes you feel. If instead of offering comfort, it leaves you feeling disconnected, that could point to deeper issues. Remember, consistent behaviors often reveal more than isolated words. Before we continue, let me ask you, ever thought about sending just one text that could make a woman crave you instantly? Imagine a message so powerful it takes over her mind, making her think about you nonstop, even if she's currently with someone else or sees you as just a friend. These secret phrases trigger an obsession, leaving her excited and desperate to see you. But be warned if you don't want her falling head over heels. Don't use these ready to have her hooked. Click the first link below to download these magnetic messages, and watch her count down the minutes until your next date. Fifth phrase, you need to trust me more. Trust is the foundation of any relationship. However, when this phrase is used defensively, to avoid questions or redirect the conversation, it can be a red flag. Often it's delivered with a tone of exasperation, as though questioning something were inherently wrong. For example, you might ask a simple question about a recent change in behavior, and the response is an irritated, "You need to trust me more." The real question is, does this phrase come with transparency, or is it merely a way to shut down the discussion? Context is always crucial in understanding what's truly happening. Frequently, this phrase is accompanied by actions that, rather than providing reassurance, actually raise more doubts. When used as a shield, it can serve to discourage you from delving deeper into certain behaviors or situations. Reflect on whether this phrase appears during vulnerable moments or as a defense mechanism to avoid honest dialogue. Also consider the overall pattern. Does this phrase arise sporadically, or has it become a recurring tactic to sidestep meaningful conversations? The answer can offer clearer insight into the state of the relationship. Final thoughts individually. These phrases might seem harmless, but when evaluated within the right context and combined with other behaviors, they can provide significant clues. The goal here isn't to foster unwarranted suspicions, but rather to encourage mature and attentive observation within the relationship. If you enjoyed this content, make sure to subscribe to the Valuable Mind channel right now, so you can keep receiving insights that transform how you understand relationships. and human behavior. Don't forget to leave a comment below. I'd love to hear your experiences. Your engagement truly makes a difference. Activate the notification bell so you don't miss anything, and share this video with someone who might benefit from hearing this message. Sending you a big hug, and I'll see you in the next video.